we're going to use it as a sounding clip, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, you're right. Probably something on airplane.
Probably. One of these.
Yeah. Alright, turn it off.
Cool.
Yeah, that actually, I don't know why we don't do that more frequently.
Call in.
No, have music playing.
Yeah, we do stuff like that.
We could, if we want to violate YouTube's policies and get a second strike against us.
Yeah.
Or that was against you. That first strike was against you, so I don't care.
No. So.
Are we recording?
Yeah,
well,
we
I don't even know what that was. What accent that was. Who says "va" versus "we"? Is that German or?
Yeah, that would be German.
That's German.
Or I believe Russian as well.
Mm-hmm.
Beer.
Very good.
Have some
Very
vodka.
good.
No, they say that V's like W's.
Yeah.
Drink some vodka.
Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, the Germans would say the V, the W is a V. It's backwards.
Very good.
Why isn't it called double V?
I know, right?
Right.
It actually is in Spanish.
Double V?
Doble V, which is double V.
Really?
Mm-hmm. A double V is a what?
Well, is it written as a double V because of the old Roman like carvings where they couldn't do like rounded letters, so everything like U's would look like
R's.
V's?
Oh, is that why?
But they were pointy, weren't they?
Yeah, they were pointing.
They were pointy.
Mm.
So it's
Very
just a
true.
sideways S.
Yeah.
What?
So it was a great week for me.
Let's hear about it, Rob. What happened?
I've officially achieved red status. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Lee, do you know what red status is?
Did you have to get some prescription ointment for that?
No. No, I've officially made VIP status.
Where?
You should. I thought you could see a glow.
Oh,
When you saw me,
Chick-fil-A.
I faked.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I did.
He's talking about
I've
Chick-fil-A.
officially made red status, which is the pinnacle. It is the pinnacle.
Do they have membership cards at Chick-fil-A?
Oh well, it's on my phone. I have.
It's the app.
Yeah, I have the app. Yes.
Okay.
And
It's a tracking app.
I was
I get it.
officially invited after I got red status. I immediately got an email. I'm sure it wasn't robotic. I'm sure I got a personal email
Yes.
inviting me to the Chick-fil-A campus in Atlanta to get a free tour.
Really?
Yeah. So you get a.
Is it that rare to reach red status?
Huh?
Is it that rare to reach red status?
I think you got to be pretty fat to reach red status because you got to eat a lot of chicken.
Huh.
So.
Chicken doesn't make you fat.
No. The amount of chicken, I guess, you eat would make you fat. But no.
You got an invite.
Yes. So it's
What's
a
the guy's
it's
name?
a
Kathy
2 hour.
Susan or
Truett Kathy.
Jenny? Oh, okay.
Truett Kathy. It was a requirement to know that before I could officially
he's half
make red
Italian.
status. Yeah.
He's half Italian.
But anyway, you just have to address me differently now, because if you want me to do some favors for you for Chick-fil-A, I
So-
got an inside track.
Wait a minute. Back up.
Uh,
So you're going to go.
I'm going to Atlanta. Yes, I do plan on going to Atlanta, and it's a 2-hour tour.
Yes.
The first hour is going over Chick-fil-A's history. They have a museum for the history of Chick-fil-A. They give you a 1-hour grand personal tour for that.
I don't know if this is some dumb elaborate joke you've planned out, or if this is real.
It's just for real. You can look it up. Look up red status Chick-fil-A. The second hour.
They should be really ironic, and if you reach red status, call you Colonel.
That'd be excellent. Kind of like Elvis's partner, right? I'm the one that Elvis looked after.
Oh yeah,
The
okay.
Colonel.
I think he was half Italian.
Was he half Italian?
That's
I'm
our
not
new- that's our
Italian
new
at all.
code.
I'm not Italian at all.
They should just have different levels, like in the military. Like you'll have a private,
Mhm.
and then you'll have a
I did.
sergeant,
Yeah.
and then you'll have a comes after sergeant, captain,
Yeah.
and then you'll have. So
Major.
they should have those.
I did.
Chick-fil-A.
So
Well,
you climbed the ladder
I'm
to
on
red,
the top.
red
I am at the
status.
pinnacle.
Do they give you?
You're now comrade.
So what happens after the history of Chick-fil-A?
So the second hour, I get to go to the Innovation Center, which I get to
That's where the fizzy
watch
lifting drink
where
is.
they come up with the new concepts. I get to attend that for an hour.
That's where you get to try the,
That's what I'm most interested in.
everlasting gobstopper and
Yeah,
get rolled into the
exactly.
juicing room afterwards.
Yeah, take the glass elevator.
Yes. Yeah, you see, that's the official banner that I received.
Welcome to, wow. Chick-fil-A
very nice.
One Red membership.
Yeah, I get inside information on when they have offers too and what they're doing.
Do you have to?
So,
Did you have to pay extra to get to that?
Yeah, you had to pay for a lot of chicken.
Pay for a lot of chicken. Yes, I did. So, I receive exclusive inside content throughout the year.
I'm a Sheets freak. I
Yeah.
know, that's my only claim
Is
to
that
fame.
another?
It's a level of the Sheets app.
No kidding.
I don't use it that
And I
much.
have gotten a lot more rewards now.
I think
So it's weird. Like I got like 2 free Chick-fil-A sandwiches this week.
Wow.
2. And one was personal from the branch manager of the local Chick-fil-A, and the other was because the Pirates executed some sort of double play, that Chick-fil-A double play.
That is fantastic.
Well, that has nothing to do with you.
No, I got it, but hey, yeah, I got
Yeah,
2
you got
free.
extra red
I
points
got
your-
2
for
free
that.
chickens.
Is your Chick-fil-A Louis Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, the
Is
one
that-
in
that's
Wexford.
your-
That's
okay.
my preferred one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But that owner owns both. He owns the one in Cranberry, and he owns the one in Wexford. And when
The one on
Louis,
McKnight?
yeah,
Well,
no, no, just those. I think only the 2. The one in Wexford and one
Where's
in
the
Cranberry.
Chick-fil-A in Wexford?
Right by Northway.
Oh, in Cranberry, you're saying? Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes, yes.
okay,
Yeah. But the owner there told Louis that he only works 10 hours a week. That would be a sweet deal, wouldn't it? Own a couple Chick-fil-A's and only have to work 10 hours a week.
Well, if you go to the headquarters and you
Mhm.
get a job offer,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be wicked pissed.
I'm working for it. I would work for Chick-fil-A. I would do it. I would definitely work at Chick-fil-A.
It's
corporate.
Sundays off for sure.
I mean, someone,
Probably, yeah. Huh?
someone has to QA that app, right?
Yeah, it's what I'm thinking, right? Make a reason to have 100 QA people for a Chick-fil-A app. I've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make a compelling reason where there's more QA engineers than there are people that actually work in the administration.
I can't take this job unless Mike Work comes with me.
Yeah.
And we need
Yeah.
a creative designer too.
Now here's gonna be your struggle. He's
Yeah.
not gonna want to move to Atlanta,
Yeah.
but we have to get him here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not accepting.
You're gonna have to let him commute.
You're gonna have to make it really compelling for Mike Work to come along. Oh,
So how was your 4th?
Good.
Did you stay home or what did you do?
We went to Maureen's brother's house as we do every year. It's our nephew's birthday on the 4th. He was born on the 4th of July. So
I was born on the. That's Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
He sang "Born on the 4th." No,
it was a movie with Tom Cruise.
he
Yeah.
did "Born in the USA."
that
I'm an
was like
idiot.
wicked
The
depressing.
the
too.
movie was
Yeah,
Born on the
it
4th
was
of July.
based on an actual guy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so did you do fireworks or what
Yes,
did you
we ended up going downtown for fireworks.
do? Oh, good.
How
We,
horrible was that experience?
It wasn't at all. We wanted to go to Blueberry Park,
Mm.
in Franklin Park.
Oh yeah.
Because Maureen had looked it up and saw that all this stuff was going on. There were bands, there was a magician, there were food trucks. We were really excited about going there.
Oh yeah.
And we got there and it was empty. There was nobody there.
Are you serious?
There was a little sand volleyball tournament going on, and that was it.
Well,
Yeah.
Why would they
So-
have such a production? on
Nate's
the
girlfriend
internet?
went and looked it up, and it had happened on June 30th.
Oh.
So she just
Why?
didn't look at the date. that's
June
all.
30th.
Sure, because then you don't have to pay your employees time and a half or double time for working the holiday, right?
Okay,
Wow.
wow.
And everybody does for the 4th of July on the 3rd of July.
Mm.
So I guess they wanted to avoid that.
Okay.
So we looked around for someplace else to go, and everybody had their fireworks the night before.
Mm.
So we just went downtown, and it was at Heinz Field. It was open, so there was
You
no
didn't have to
admission.
pay for parking?
You had to pay for it. It was $10 for parking.
Okay.
Bottle of water was $5 inside. It was crazy prices
but you
for that
actually
stuff.
sat?
We had already eaten. No, they didn't have the interior of the stadium
Yeah.
open. You could go into the Great Hall and go up the parapets and so forth, but you couldn't actually go into the seating.
What did you call that?
The parapets?
What?
Parapet? It's like a tower at a castle.
That's.
I don't know.
It's
You know the
called a
big thing with
parapet.
the umbrella over it?
Wow.
Where?
Did they actually call it a parapet, or are you referring to it to medieval times, comparing it?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow. Pretty wild
Um,
that you just pulled that out.
and there was a country music band playing, and it
course
was a
there
fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
Where did you actually sit to watch the fireworks?
On the parapet, yeah. We went up.
Oh, you stood. You
we
stood
went up
on that.
almost to the very top of it and stood up.
Oh,
And they were shot off from the barge in the river right there.
that had to be a good view, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's
nice.
actually really creative.
Yeah, it
That's
was really
cool.
nice. It was nice.
How was traffic?
Leaving the parking lot was a bit of a pain.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided to, instead of fighting to get through town on the north side to get back to 279, I went west end, and then I was gonna get on 65 and come up through like off of Beaver Avenue, but I ended up missing my turn. So we went through these. It was like almost midnight, and we went through some really seedy areas.
Yeah.
There was one.
Oh,
house
you went
where-
through Mike's area, Brookline.
Yeah. You
There
were,
was some, well, we came out up. My grandparents are buried in Uniondale
Yeah.
Cemetery,
Mhm.
which is up on the hill there above all of that. So I was able to find my way there. I knew the direction well enough that I took the streets that got us there. But there was one house we went past. There were people sitting out on their porch at midnight. They must have had 97 vacuum cleaners lining their porch, just like decoratively. The
Really?
porch was decorated with
Was it
old
Randy
vacuum
Land?
cleaners.
you might have been passing Randy Land with that.
It was a home. It was just a house.
Oh,
Wow.
well, they were having a porch sale.
Is that what it was?
It was the yard
It's,
sale.
it's
I don't actually
typical
know
in
where
Brooklyn.
Randy Land is. Isn't it Cleveland or something?
No, it's somewhere in the north side.
Is it?
Yeah.
I never even heard of Randy Land.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this collection of weird stuff.
Oh.
The guy has his house all decked out.
And his name's Randy.
I have no idea.
You can go there and look at it all, right?
And apparently he will talk your ear off. So
Oh, really?
if you're a talker, then
Mhm. That's not me.
yeah.
I don't think it was Randy Land.
No, you were talking about Brookline.
I wasn't.
You talked about Brookline.
Yeah.
So last night I was walking my dogs through my neighborhood,
hmm
and there's one of the Lutheran churches in my neighborhood. They were having an AA or NA meeting or something. So
What's NA?
North Allegheny.
Yeah, it was.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's what they
so
call it.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So they had.
Could have been SLAA as well,
I've never heard of it.
which is Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous.
Is that
Is that,
really
such
a
is that
thing?
a real thing?
That's where you go hook
It is.
up, right?
That's
That's where,
where
a
you
lot
go
of-
for the
The
yeah.
devil is quite active in that group, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah. Been coming here often?
Yeah. So the only reason I know is because when I was walking by the group, I could hear them talking, so I knew what they were talking about,
Mhm.
addiction or whatever. But there was probably 50 guys and probably some gals out sitting, in the common area or whatever.
I'm surprised they did that out in the open.
Yeah, I was surprised too. Like
Yeah,
putting
because
themselves
part of
out there
that
like
is
that.
for people that are maybe vulnerable and they
Yeah.
want
The whole
Going on
anonymous
private thing.
part of it.
Yeah.
But someone drives by and they're like, "Hey, Jim, I didn't know you were an alcoholic. Oh my gosh,
You're
Yeah.
fired.
I guess it's not typically, that wouldn't be called anonymous anymore, would it?
No, I don't think
It's
so.
alcoholics out in the open.
Well, maybe if they
Yeah.
merged it with the furry creatures, they could put
Yeah,
like
yeah.
their masks on
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, and no one would. That's
Oh,
terrible.
wow.
Why would you say that?
Say what?
What you just said about putting furry creatures on.
Oh,
Do they have a
okay.
furries anonymous? I bet if we looked it up, there
They're
probably
all anonymous because they're
Yeah.
wearing masks.
is. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so as I was walking by, there was some weirdo on the street that was yelling at them, saying "Praise Muhammad," like all this stuff about loving Muhammad because he thought they were Christians because they were outside a church and they weren't.
Wow.
They were just
But anonymous, the Alcoholics Anonymous is very heavily pinned to a belief system, though, right?
absolutely.
I mean, God is heavily infused
Yep.
in the 12 steps, right?
Yep.
Sure. Your higher power.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it could be Muhammad.
Right.
Yeah,
There may well have been Muslims in the group.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's a saint somewhere with AA.
No, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, no, I mean a specific saint
Right.
tied to AA.
Right.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
But by calling it a higher power, they leave it open to everyone who
Mm.
needs help.
Right.
But they believe, I mean, it's infused that there is a higher power. Because you have to rely on that higher power to get you through.
Right,
it,
because you can't solve this problem yourself.
Right.
But if someone has, like, if an atheist
Mhm.
is an alcoholic,
Mhm.
they don't have to believe in God to go there.
hmm
You can say, my higher power is the universe. You just
yeah.
choose something that is above you.
Okay.
So there is a. Okay, here it is. Sister Ignatia, the Catholic nun behind AA. Oh, she's not a saint. Saint Matthias, Oh, never mind. Nope, that was just an a link to an AA meeting.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's
Venerable Matt Talbot was an alcoholic,
and
and he's referred to, I
as a
think,
saint.
in groups like that. He's not a saint yet. He's venerable.
How do your dogs do around fireworks?
Well, she hates thunder. Anya hates thunder. But we weren't home, so I don't know how she did.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you mean
Yeah.
you haven't had fireworks going off all week?
Yeah, her ears perk up.
Yeah.
I think if it's just like, she's okay.
Yeah.
Because the county police firing range is right in North Park. It's real close to our house.
So
You can
maybe
hear them shooting all the
desensitized
time, and she's
on the
always
point, couldn't
perking
deal
up
with
and
that.
looking. But if it's actual thunder, she starts panting and drooling heavily.
Oh, really?
She hates thunder.
Napoleon is like that, but it's anything that's loud, sudden noises. So we actually this year got him prescribed medicine for it.
Yeah.
And you know what they gave him?
What?
Benadryl.
Adult Valium.
Valium.
Oh.
He had to drop a Valium.
How do you know it's adult?
Score for you.
Because it was over the counter regular prescription Valium. And they said just so we put it in a thing of cheese.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But it was very, very low dose.
I don't know. It was crazy though.
Pop a couple of those.
Yeah.
You're gonna drive past an NA meeting.
Yeah.
And Rob's gonna be there.
My dogs are really upset. You know, I'm saying I'm gonna need an extra dosage.
Go back to the vet. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, man, hey, can you hook me? My dog. I mean, my dog
dog
is
is really upset. Yeah, it's funny. I actually had a story similar to that about I don't know if you've ever had a bout of kidney stones before.
I have not yet.
Have you
Not
had
yet.
those?
I'm planning
No.
to. That's
I've
fun.
had it like 3 times. I've had kidney
Fully
stones.
expected.
Yeah, and the one time that I had them was like absolute hell. Like I actually would have been okay if somebody cut my arm off and
I've
would
heard
take
that.
the pain away. It was that bad.
Mhm.
So during that time, it took me over a week to pass the stones, and I wasn't very well educated over it. I was in so much pain I couldn't think twice about anything, and so I wound up checking myself in the emergency room a couple times through the week because I could not deal with the pain. Even the pain meds they were giving me, it didn't do anything. It was terrible.
Yeah.
You were begging to be put into a medically induced coma.
Yes, I would have been happy. I would have been happy at the moment. That's how much pain that I had, and the only thing that worked the first time they put me in the emergency room, they gave me Demerol, and I didn't realize Demerol could be something that could be addictive or whatever. And oh my gosh, everything just went away. I didn't feel.
Is it an
anything.
opioid?
Yes, I believe it is. It could. I think it is. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, so I didn't feel a thing. I was like, wow, this is amazing, you know, and they kept me overnight. But the problem with the stone was, you know, I wanted them to surgically remove it, but I didn't understand actually surgically getting it removed is worse than passing it. So my stone just happened to meet the maximum threshold of letting it pass. So it was like going to be a joy all the way through the kidney tube to get it out of there.
Because they're spiky, right?
Yeah, they are. I actually caught mine. It was this black, spiky, you know, one of those things like, what do you call the mace? You know, like
yeah. Like
it looks like a little
medieval weapon.
Yeah, it looks like a little mace that you put on the end of a
So
chain.
as it's coming out your urethra,
Yes,
it's stabbing you the whole
It
way
is.
and trying to just stick.
it is exactly.
And you were peeing through your fingers to catch it?
Yeah, exactly. I was using it as a they give you this thing that's a
Oh,
filter to
okay.
catch it, and
I
you
get it.
pee through that so you can try to catch it.
It was black?
It was black,
I didn't-
and
I didn't
it was
picture that.
calcium. But so the second time that I went into the emergency room,
Wait, is this for the same incident?
Yes.
Just later?
yeah,
Okay.
Do you still have it?
I was
Did you have it
driving-
made into a pendant?
no, I should.
I think I would be tempted to do that.
Yeah.
Could you encase this
yeah.
in amber for me?
I was dry heaving so much throughout that week that all of my blood vessels in my eyes popped.
Oh.
Like, so my eyes looked really jacked up.
Wow.
So I checked myself back in the emergency room. Like, I can't deal with this anymore. So being more educated about what helped me last time, I asked for Demerol, which was a huge mistake. So I immediately got profiled for, this guy might be an
Oh
addict.
my
Oh,
gosh.
jeez.
So they went through this litany of questions before, and I'm still feeling all this pain. They're like, why'd you ask for Demerol? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So they had
Because
to
it's
reprove-
amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I haven't had it in
yeah,
like 4
I
hours.
got to have me some of that Demerol. Yeah, but anyway, that was a crazy time. But the odd thing is, I thought the worst part of it would be actually going through your pee hole, and it's not.
It
The
wasn't.
worst part was going like what Lee said through the tube from your kidney down to the
The pee
the
hole.
pee hole. But I was afraid. Could you imagine? What if it gets caught on the end and it's just like the pain of it going right through there? But actually, that area, I was educated on it, dilates pretty well when you go to the bathroom, and so it just shocked. I didn't even feel it. I caught it and I was surprised. So, but the one thing that I learned through that, and I've had kidney stones again after that, and they were really bad. But like an idiot, I was in so much pain and I was dry heaving, I wouldn't force myself to drink, and that was like the absolute worst thing that I could do to myself.
Oh, you.
So I was,
You gotta
yeah,
flush.
you gotta drink like crazy. In fact, they actually recommend you drink beer because they say beer will force a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
things through the tube. I'm not a big beer drinker, but it
I
did
think
help
I
me.
would be though.
Yeah.
In that case.
Well, you see, what the problem was, every time you drank, the pain would come. Well, the reason the pain's coming is because it's moving.
Yeah.
You want it to move fast, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep chugging and then deal with the pain because it's much more brief. My problem was I wasn't drinking that whole week because I couldn't deal with every time I drank and let it go through. I was like, oh my gosh, But then after the second and third time, man, I was drinking like crazy,
and it was not as bad.
It wasn't as bad because I.
And is that a way to help avoid kidney stones too? To drink a lot of water? Drink.
They actually say, there could be lots of reasons. It could be like they even say like green leafy like spinach.
Okay.
And they say tea could be a cause of it.
Cause of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Some
Green
leafy.
leafy spinach can be a cause.
It's like
They
the
said
one
sometimes-
vegetable I'll eat.
Yeah, really. I think
Really?
yeah. So it's but I haven't gotten enough. Well, hopefully I don't get any more. But
Yeah.
it was pretty
On
crazy.
on the HBO show Deadwood, I think I talked about it before.
Really?
You guys haven't seen it. It's a cowboy show,
Yeah.
the Old West show. One of the characters had a kidney stone, and after a while, the doc came, and he said, "Okay." He brought out these long metal forceps. He's like, "Now I'm gonna insert these up through the end of your penis into your bladder to see if it clinks against these, to see if that's what it is."
Oh, stop.
So
stop.
no anesthesia,
And he jams it up in there.
See, there's no way that would be good.
You think?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Could you even imagine?
Yeah.
So how? I mean, even as ignorant as they were medically back then, who would think that would be a good idea?
Well, it worked.
He did get it?
Clinked it. He wasn't able to grab it then, but as it was coming out later, he went in again and was able to grab it and pull it out.
Was the guy screaming?
Oh yeah, and he passed. He had a stroke actually.
Because of the pain.
Yeah. He had a
So
minor
he was
stroke.
all like strokey, like
Yeah, his whole right side was unusable for a while.
Oh
It came
my
back, but-
gosh.
Oh boy, that sounds like a lovely show to watch there, Lee.
Wow.
It was
I-
well, it was based on real people, so that may have actually happened. Like most of the characters in Deadwood were actual people, and Deadwood's a real place.
There's a place in Washington D.C. where you can go see old medical instruments. So that might actually be interesting. It's a
Torture
museum.
instruments, yeah.
Yeah, they show what they used to use to
Right.
extract various things. That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
but no,
times.
Yeah. No. Oh,
I
but
guess that all goes to trust,
Mm.
right? So, like when you,
I think it all goes to you had no choice.
self-discipline
Mhm.
and trust
Mhm.
to have to force yourself to drink the water,
Oh yeah, that. Okay.
to push this through.
hmm
You have to trust the medical system that they know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and you have to have the self-discipline to put up with the pain.
Yeah, so the pool guy that I had here, he had kidney stones, and he had them while he was getting the pool done. And so what I was told, and I believe it now, like I was begging to the doctor to give me surgery. Like there's this surgery that they'll give you where they'll use lasers, they'll focus on the area in the kidney, and they'll blow the stones up. Right. There's a couple problems with that. The one is then you're got a multiple stone problem. When you break it up, now you got multiple pieces going through your zone, which I guess makes the pain even more intense at times. But the other thing they did with him, and I don't understand it, it's not the metal instrument, but they did jam this like balloon like thing up through where he had a string hanging out of his
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
And at the end of it, he said they had to pull it out, right? And so he was very much dreading, getting that pulled out of his other end there. So I guess, pick your poison.
So they put the.
I don't understand what that thing is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know how to shut Mike up.
Yeah,
we know
right.
what Mike does not want to talk about.
So
Well, that's what I worry about with those commercials now. What do they call those things that you get? Why do they
Catheters.
Yeah. Why do they advertise that so much? Like, did people have to have catheters in all the time?
Older people, I think, in a lot of cases, sure.
Why? I don't understand the point. What is it for? To help you pee?
If you can't go, yeah.
On account of my prostrate.
Do people self-administer their own catheters, or
You can.
Oh my gosh! I mean, could you?
I guess you get used to it like anything else.
Could you imagine? Oh man, I don't know. This is a terrible subject.
Cringy.
Yeah, let's just get out of this. Like, let's just work our way out.
So you guys know I like to listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this week I listened to a couple different podcasts. One, Father Mike Schmitz. I listen to him frequently, and then I've been listening to one that Lee told me about. It's called Clerically Speaking. So, listening to the Father Mike show earlier this week, he was talking about something I'd never heard of before called Acedia. And basically, it's being sloth-like in your...
The noonday demon, right? Is that what we call it?
Yeah.
The devil, the noonday devil.
That's it. So he talked about Acedia, and he went into some detail about how, in the early days of Christendom, there would be some monks that would go out into the desert, and they would, live in these huts, and their commitment to Christ was their prayer. So they would go out and they would live in these huts as hermits, and they would pray. So, the mornings, before it got super hot, it's the desert, they would do their chores, and then in the evenings they would fix their meal. So between that, they dedicate their self to prayer. Well, he was talking about Acedia in the context of during that time when they should be praying and not praying. Rather than praying, they would, do other things or find things to do other than prayer.
What else can you do in the
surf
desert?
Twitter, probably. Check their email.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Yeah. YouTube.
Around 1000 AD. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd have to tie your tweets to rocks and chuck them to the decks.
They were actual birds. You tied a note to a bird.
Yeah. They would tweet. Yeah.
You make the bird tweet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and another example was.
So let's say that again. So what is Acedia again? Like a working example using that one. That was they were dedicating themselves to do something spiritual.
Yeah, it's being spiritually sloth-like. So if you aren't doing what you're spiritually called to do, and instead doing something else, I mean, it could actually be even working or
allowing distraction from spirituality.
Yes, that's a really good summary.
Yeah, but wow. I mean, we can keep going. But
so he talked about that, and he also gave the example of someone that they're off work that day or whatever. You have a vacation day, and rather than it's okay to sleep in, right? But sleeping in excessively, and rather than getting up, starting your day, dedicating your day to God, you just kind of lay there. So then, about 3 or 4 days later, I listened to just randomly select an older podcast of Clerically Speaking. And they talked about Acedia. This is a word I've never heard of before.
Because that Father Mike one's not brand new. That's an older one, too.
Yeah. Oh, you've obviously heard that one.
I heard that one, yeah.
No, that's actually a new one.
It's not brand new. Because, it's several months ago, I'm sure, that I heard it.
So maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the Clerically Speaking podcast was new, and then the Father Mike was older.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that in a week that I had 2 experiences with this Acedia, which I had never heard of, and I had mentioned it to you guys. And had you heard of it before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I saw the Father Mike video. That's the only reason I've heard of it.
Okay.
Is that a Catholic term or just a general word? Like, is it Catholic?
I mean, acedia, I'm sure, is a regular word.
Yeah, regular
But
word.
applying, I don't know. That's a good question.
You have it looked up.
I
What is
doubt
it?
they
What is
made
it?
the word up.
What does it say by its definition there?
It says, oh, this is a very short definition, but it's spiritual or mental sloth, apathy. Is acedia.
Is that, yeah, there it is. Dictionary.com. Laziness or indifference in religious matters. Origin, 1600.
Hmm.
Okay, so it couldn't have been 1000 AD. It
It's
would have been 1600.
late Latin.
No. So it would be any time, even you'd experience minor acedia if you normally your regimen was to get up for church at 9 o'clock. And you just decided to skip it.
Yeah, I think it mostly applies to like a priest or
Mm.
priestly life or nun life or whatever, where rather than doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're doing other things. Like, you know, maybe they're focusing on the church building rather than the people in it, or you know, just not doing masses or whatever.
Mm.
So
That's sort of referenced in Screwtape Letters when he tells he tells Wormwood to not worry about his subject, his patient, becoming involved in the church. Just make sure he becomes obsessed about one aspect of the church
Mm.
and forget everything else.
yeah, I remember. Was that similar to when he was talking about, you know, being distracted by, well, while he's in church?
Yeah, of the person next to him.
Yeah, like
knowing that the barber is not a good person, but
Yeah.
start thinking about all the people there. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
You think that's sort of an example of this?
I think
in
so.
A way?
Yeah, and you know, I'm certainly no expert on it. I just think it's interesting that.
In this room, you are.
Fantastic.
You've heard 2 podcasts about it.
Yes.
You are
I am the
Way
subject
above
matter
us.
expert.
Yes.
You have officially reached red status on Acedia.
That's right. That's right.
I'm a SME.
Yeah, you can now be invited to some venerable
hell.
institution.
Yeah.
To experience it firsthand.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy, that's fun. You know, that actually brought me to another one
Hmm.
because it's similar to the whole Acedia thing. But I've been, you know, I know that a lot of Catholic churches are closing because of budgetary reasons and lack of priests. So I've always thought, you know, we can just reduce the number of buildings and, you know, to accommodate the number of priests. So if there's a cluster that has 5 buildings but only 3 priests, maybe, you know, close 2 buildings and leave 3, but just put more mass times, put more people through those buildings, increase the throughput, if you will, for the fewer buildings. So maybe rather than having, you know, 1 mass a day and 2 masses on the weekend, maybe have, you know, 2 masses a day for daily mass, and then, you know, 5 masses on the weekend or something like that. Accommodate the people.
Mm.
And, you know, in my head, that argument was pretty legitimate. But then...
Still only 3 priests, though.
Right. And that's exactly what the clerically speaking priests were talking about, was that, you know, they want to keep the mass, the process reverent, and they don't want to have priests that are robots. So if you make a priest go through that mass process multiple times a day, they become very autonomous and retracted from the process.
You turn the mass into Chipotle.
Yeah,
Or you just kind of walk in and
yeah. And
make your burrito.
and the argument
And eat
for the
Yeah.
the attendees of the mass
Guac is extra, is that all right?
Yeah. I like guac on my cracker, please.
in the argument for the that would be the argument against having multiple masses from the priest's perspective. From the attendee's perspective, you're supposed to bring God your first fruits. So the mass is really, you know, attending mass would be, you know, bringing your first fruits. So if there's an 8:30 mass on Sunday, you need to make that a priority. So it's about prioritizing and putting God first.
Why did you connotate to the 8:30? You're saying that the first you should go to the first one. In the morning.
No, sorry. So what I'm thinking of is rather than putting the focus on the attendees, where the Catholic Church is like, we'll just get a whole bunch of masses going through this one building.
Yeah.
Even though there's one priest, just to get people to come,
Mm-hmm.
to make it more convenient for people to come. That's what I was referring to. And in reality, as attendees, we need, as Catholics, we need to put the Mass first.
Right.
So there's two reasons for not increasing the number of Masses at a parish.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to burn out the priests. Because they're not going to give you their best homily. They're not going to give...
And don't they have other things to do? I mean, it's not their sole job. Like, they have to, visit people in hospitals. They have to counsel people.
Mm-hmm. People
priests,
it's a
career. It's not just a guy who comes to do Mass.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it takes a lot out of those guys, it seems.
Yeah.
Well,
becoming Jesus for a little while.
Yeah.
It's going to take it out of you.
Think about you got to get the vestments prepared. You got to get everything in the church prepared. You got to get that all coordinated. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and you probably got to have maintenance people to do the lights, and you got to find servers, and there's
who does that actually? Like, who makes sure that there's sufficient people? So who makes sure the supporting cast is in place?
Like at our church?
Yeah, like in general, who's responsible ultimately?
It's Angie mostly.
So there's always somebody. It's not the priest's responsibility to make sure that
No.
the deacon's there and all of that. If there needs to be one there and all of that.
Well, the deacon is on the clergy schedule, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so at our cluster, there's a volunteer that manages all the calendars.
Yeah.
So there's a calendar for the Eucharistic ministers, there's a calendar for the altar servers, and there's a calendar for... I think that's it. Oh, and then that aligns with, the priest's calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a person in our cluster that does this for, basically they take a quarter and they make a calendar for the quarter.
Yeah.
And, just sends emails, make sure everybody knows the calendar. It's a Google calendar, actually. And so, you know what, it's not the end of the world when someone doesn't show up. The readers at Mass, that's the other calendar.
Yeah.
Does Angie have to get firm with people? Like
No,
some of the
it's an automated
people?
process. She uses a program called Ministry Platform.
Uh-huh.
So really, she just sort of maintains the thing. It sends automated notices to tell you it's your time, and if you need a sub, you click a button, you'll find a sub.
Wow.
It's all automated.
No, we
But
have
she
to send
oversees
emails.
That's how it was until she took over, and then she looked for a better way to do it. And found that, yeah.
It's messy, and I know the person that does the quarterly count, and she does not enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Well, she should check out, or you have to pay for Ministry Platform though. So.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I assure you, we're not going to do that.
The other thing is, I don't know if it's true in every diocese, but I don't think priests are technically, canonically allowed to say more than 3 masses in a day.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly what they talked about. Yeah. And there's a reason for it, and that is the reason, to keep them becoming autonomous bots.
Right, automatons.
Yeah, or automatons.
3 masses a day.
Tatonka.
And that's actually a lot.
Yeah.
3 masses a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what, that kind of...
And the Vigil Mass Saturday night is considered, I think, part of that, right? Part of that.
Not according to you, but to most
other
people, it is.
Mocking you guys.
Yeah, right.
Exactly what Mike was talking about. Going to the Mass that's convenient for you. We all do that.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it.
But
I'll go to outside my cluster.
I mean, the Vigil Mass on Saturday night counts as the Mass because it's after sundown, and that's like the old Jewish law, right? The Sabbath begins after sundown. But does that count toward their total? Is it a weekend total? Like, if you do the Saturday night Mass, can you then only do 2 Masses on Sunday? Does that count as 3, or is it in that calendar day?
Yeah, what does it take?
I don't expect you to know.
I don't know.
I'm
just
wondering
to get the Catholic Red status. Like, how many Masses a week do you need to attend? before you would
you
get
have to attend
VIP
daily mass and
Uh-huh.
then Sunday. Also,
every day.
yeah. Also, something I found out, and I knew this from talking to my priests. Sunday night mass is their least favorite. They do not like doing Sunday evening mass, and that's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, it's the one that fits into my
Why is
schedule
it
the
because
best.
it kind of takes away from some private
It's
time?
most convenient for
It
me.
is, exactly. Yeah.
Is it something they take away from their private time? They'd like to have
Well,
more
they're
time.
they have to do early Monday mass, right? So they have Monday or weekly mass, so they have that to wake up to.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done Sunday morning mass, so they don't want to do Sunday evening. That's when they
Because it like takes their whole day away.
right. So let's say they go out of town, they want to leave, after Sunday mass and then come back for the next day mass or whatever. Like they can't do that. So
Acknowledging that, I mean, everybody goes to the mass that's most convenient for them. You're not going to intentionally go to a mass that's inconvenient, right? It's like 7 a.m. Sunday. I hate that. But that's where I'm going. But to a degree, shouldn't it be something of a sacrifice?
yes,
Because,
think
the
so.
mass itself is the presentation of Christ's sacrifice for us. So shouldn't we be sacrificing to be there? Kind of like the same way that giving money to the church is a sacrifice. We're giving our first fruits back to God in thanks for the gifts He's given us.
yeah,
So
I think that's part of it.
it should be somewhat uncomfortable in a way, so that we know that it's important and that we're giving something up for God. We're putting Him first in a way.
Yeah, or your self-discipline, learning to love it, learning to love that 7:30 a.m. mass, or
Right.
that 7 a.m. mass.
Right. In a way, probably going to Mass at all is something of a sacrifice, because most people would probably rather be somewhere else.
I think it's a sacrifice at first. I think after a while,
Yeah.
after a short while, you find yourself yearning for it.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've experienced
Yeah.
doing noonday masses at St. Mary's or downtown. Or doing that for a certain period of time. Suddenly, I'm like, oh, I gotta get back there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so definitely enjoyed that. But so yeah, that's something else they talked about on clerically speaking. That was pretty interesting.
Cool.
So,
What else you got?
oh, I got some other stuff. If you guys want me to keep going. So there was a lady that ate 32 hamburgers in one sitting. 30.
Why in the world would she do something
Good,
like
good
that?
segue.
Yeah,
I'm a professional Segway person.
yeah. Wow. How do you even bridge that?
Was it in a competition setting?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was a competition. Yeah.
And she had
And
to
she
eat a
was a
bunch.
Joey Chestnut ate 77 on the 4th of July. Hot dogs, I
Hamburger-
heard.
hot
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joey Chestnut.
he's like the world champion hot dog eater.
Oh, yeah.
Every 4th of July, they have the hot dog eating
This was
contest.
really gross. I can't even watch them do
Oh,
that.
they dip it in water.
Yeah,
get
it's
the bun down.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's just nasty.
So
It's
gross.
most when they dip it in water. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like the after effects?
Yeah. What
of
is his
that?
day after that? Like what
It can't
happens?
be good.
Wait, how many hot dogs?
77, I think.
And what does he win for that? A T-shirt?
Notoriety. I don't know. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
money involved, probably.
He gets mentioned on the
I think it's his-
Locust podcast. That's why, right? Yeah.
I think
That's
it's what he does. I think that's his profession, right?
It is. Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine putting that much meat through my
Can't be good for you.
intestines.
Can't be good for you.
Or the 32 hamburgers. Like that's like a full cow, isn't it?
And you know what's funny about that?
Right.
Well, most of the people that win are really skinny, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
You think it'd be something like, yeah, I'm gonna eat 32 burgers.
No problem. I can do
I could do that. I do that for breakfast.
Do you think they just let all of that digest, or do you think they purge afterwards?
Oh, I'd have to purge. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way
Wow.
I'd let that go.
Can you imagine the feeling it would be to have that all sitting
Oh
there?
my gosh.
I mean, because I think what I've heard is it takes 20 minutes for your body to tell you that they're full. So if you eat a lot, you're not going to get that feedback for at least 20 minutes.
That's why they tell you to eat your portion and then stop and
Right.
let your body catch up. Don't just keep
Exactly.
eating until you feel full, because then
Yeah, because
You're
you
overfull.
felt you get overfull. Can you imagine how overfull they have to feel
Yeah.
after
Can't be
jamming
good.
that all down? Yeah. But they're all skinny. That's what blows my mind. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand how their metabolism works
Oh boy.
unless they do purge. Ugh.
I would have to, yeah.
How long would it take
Disgusting.
77 hot dogs to come back out of you?
Oh
Like
my
a fire
gosh.
hose.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Could you?
And the thing is, like, he's not like fully chewing these either,
Right.
because
They swallow
it's
practically,
competition.
right?
You gotta get them down
Yeah.
quick. Yeah.
So you're not only bringing up like 77 hot dogs, but there's 77 unchewed properly hot dogs.
What kind of? Who made the burgers?
Something called.
Were they sliders or were they full burgers?
It's.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Was it White Castle?
This lady, her name is. Molly Schuler. She finished 32 burgers in 10 minutes.
3 burgers.
With
in
buns?
Yes.
She dipped those in water?
Probably.
It doesn't say. But it can't be a burger unless there are buns.
That'd be the filling part, right? The bun.
I think the meat was the thing that would do the damage. Honestly.
Is that why they dip it in water though, so that it so it doesn't expand in
So
your
it doesn't
stomach? It's
dry.
already.
It doesn't dry up, take all the moisture.
Getting with the meat though. I don't know if you heard. I mean, this isn't a huge bridge, but the ketogenic diet. You've heard of keto?
Mhm.
It's gained a lot of popularity. A lot more people are doing it, and it really is. It's heavily focused on eating mostly meat, low carb diet type thing, right?
High protein.
High protein, virtually no carbs, and
Gross.
yeah. But the funny part is the government has taken note of it, and in fact, they're pressing on to where they want it to become a required diet for their special forces.
Wow.
So,
Well, those guys should eat like that, though.
well,
honestly. They need to taste blood.
there's
You know
some
what I mean?
oxygen deprivation to where it actually allows them to perform better underwater for longer periods of time.
Having
So for
meat in your stomach?
for some reason that diet allows oxygen. I don't understand how it works, but scientifically it makes them more effective. But the challenge they have with that is, are there morals about forcing people to eat a certain diet, for a certain period of time while they're in the military, that they have to.
Yeah, you're in the
deal
military.
with,
You
yeah.
do what you're told.
So,
Yeah.
but they have to. It changes everything. Like their MREs have to be changed. There's I guess there's a popular pizza MRE that all the military like. They'd have to get rid of that, and they'd have to force them to completely switch. But
Part of going into the military, though, is giving that up. It's allowing yourself to be told.
Yeah,
what to do.
exactly,
So
right,
it's
yep.
ridiculous that anybody is like, I don't think it's right for them to tell them what to eat.
well, actually,
Shut up!
I don't
It's
think
the
it's.
military.
I don't think it's them complaining. It's the military itself is trying to figure out what is lawful to do. So they're trying to make sure if they're going to turn this wheel and make everybody required to do that, they're trying to get all the impediments out of the way.
I want to be a Marine, but
Yeah.
it's a free country. You can't tell me what to do. Don't
You
tell me
imagine.
when to get up.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but
I don't identify as that. As that kind of Marine. I
no,
want to join the Marines, but I identify as I don't know, I lost.
A Navy person.
you were getting
Right.
you were getting into
Well, it is the Navy.
you were
Marines
getting
is the
into
Navy.
gender identification of Marines, right?
I didn't intend. Well, I mean, that was sort of close.
That's kind of where you're
Yeah.
closely. Yeah, you wonder when that's gonna.
I read an article the other day about a guy who identifies as being from the year 1820. So he will only wear, I swear to God, he will only wear Victorian clothing.
That's pretty awesome, actually. I
It's
love
kind of cool,
Victorian clothing.
Yeah.
but it's ridiculous.
I think it's great that he's mocking people.
He's
that-
not. He's not
Really?
mocking anybody. This is his lifestyle.
Wow.
He identifies as being
I'll
from
get behind
1820.
I'll get behind
You're
it.
good with that one?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
absolutely supportive,
All right.
fully supportive of that. I think we'd be in a much better place if everybody.
Just the phrase "I identify as" drives me insane.
Yeah. It's the worst. It's the worst. Who came up with that? I mean, there was one person I think that's
People who
really,
identify as being something that they aren't.
Yeah, no, there's a psychologist that came up with this gender identity,
Hmm.
changing of gender identity. There was a woman that came up with
Did you know the word gender wasn't used to refer to what sex you are until like the 1950s?
Oh, really?
Prior to that, it was like in language, language has gender, like we talked about.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was used for. It was sometime in the 1950s when someone first used it to refer to what sex you are, and they think it was maybe because of for education purposes they didn't want to be saying the word sex to little children, so
Yeah.
they started
Oh,
using
okay.
gender.
Yeah.
But it was a real world word.
Yes,
prior to that,
yes,
right?
but it was like it. I'm having trouble thinking of words today, but it was it had to do with like the gender clauses in speech, like
Oh,
in
okay.
Spanish,
Sure,
words
sure.
have gender,
Yeah.
which just sort of it infuses the word with different meaning, but it wasn't used to mean male or female.
So the furry convention or anthropomorphicon,
Anthropomorphism,
yeah,
anthropon.
yeah, is this weekend
Mhm.
downtown.
Mhm.
So I wonder if any of those furries
Mhm.
identify as a female or a male furry. So in other words, you've got the let's say the fish puma combination
Mhm.
creature. And is it a female fish puma or a male fish puma?
I guess it depends on how that person identifies.
Do you think that they go to that level of?
Yes.
You
I do
said
think
that
they
with such certainty.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Yes,
a question.
they do, Mike.
Yes, they do.
There is no doubt
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and what's funny is like the little kids or the innocent people are like, oh look, they like to dress up like animals. That is so cute. Like I
Right.
love to see them parade.
It looks
and
like you're at
stuff.
Disney World or something. Yeah,
Yeah, but
to a kid.
But I
Sure.
think in reality they it's not an innocent thing, is it?
It's. I don't think it's right. Well, I mean, I'm sure it can be, but it's not like cosplaying at a comic convention where
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm Wonder Woman, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like actually identifying as a creature with ears and a tail for a lot of people.
Or a fish and a puma combination.
Because I think there are people that go around all the time wearing their tail or their ears. They don't just wait for the convention.
Just wait.
Right.
So they'd have to send them out to be laundered. So you'd have to have more than one.
Maybe.
Yeah. John Money was the first who came up with the whole gender identity thing. Did you ever hear of John Money?
John Money.
But yeah, the big
M-O-N-E-Y.
yeah.
That's all about the bunny.
But I think the real word that people were getting into is cisgender, if you've heard of that term.
Sith.
Cis.
Sith. Yeah, Sith gender means I identify myself as a
Alright.
Sith Lord.
I am a female Sith Lord.
Yeah,
I
right.
am your mother or father. Why are you assigning gender roles to me, Luke?
I am your mother father.
Yeah,
Like we are all cisgender males.
yeah.
Sith or
Cis, CIS.
Sociologist Kristen Schill and Laura Westbrook define cisgender as a label for individuals who have a match between the gender they were assigned at birth, their bodies, and their personal identity.
Wow.
So there's 3 different ways you come across. You can
Yeah,
jack everything up.
It's an extra word that was developed to describe simply how things are.
Yeah.
And we're pretty good at doing
It allows
as Americans.
further classification and justification of other categories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're good at doing that as Americans.
Yeah.
Just make up a word that suits.
Well, that's what's crazy. In
And
some of the
already-
schools, they don't have like identification anymore as male or female. You have like this long list of things you can check off on. What do you identify yourself as?
Right.
Really?
I forget how many there are.
Yeah, it's yeah. Let me find.
I'll tell you, the one good thing that came out of this whole gender movement in society is the number of bathrooms have doubled that we have available to us.
Yeah.
Whether you're a man or a woman, you just go into one of them,
Right.
right?
And if there's a line, you just suddenly identify as the other. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, see, before you had, a Target. Target would have, a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Well, okay, let's say
They still do.
Starbucks.
I
Let's
haven't
do.
seen
How about Starbucks?
Okay.
Starbucks would have a girls' bathroom.
Do they
and
no
a boys'
longer?
bathroom. No, they're just bathrooms.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're a boy, then
So
you
it's
go
just
into
like
the
you're at
bathroom.
someone's house.
Right. So now you have two
It's just a
bathrooms
bathroom.
available to you. rather
But are
than
they
one.
single-use bathrooms though?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
single use.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No. As a matter of fact, I prefer a single-use bathroom, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't really care for having...
There's nothing worse than standing at the urinal and having somebody come in behind you, and you
Yeah.
know you just keep flushing to distract yourself.
Or how about you're at, the sporting event or whatever, and all the urinals are taken up, but the sinks are available. So you have people standing at the sinks.
You ever
doing their-
get a trough? Go to a bathroom like at a place like
I
that
do
where it's the
not like
trough.
troughs. Yeah.
You're splashing the guy next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on your shoe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm not a fan.
This is a pretty good article. This shows all the college applications and the different ones that ask more than male, female, and what they ask.
Maybe that should be our next
It's
show.
pretty fascinating. Yeah. I mean, it's Purdue University. The choices are woman, man, FTM, transgender, man, trans man, MTF, transgender woman, trans woman, gender queer,
It's MTF.
and if gender queer means
Male
identifying
to
as
female.
neither
Okay.
man or woman, prefer not to disclose, and not listed.
I can understand the classifications in the case of like a transgender person.
Yeah.
Not identifying with male or female. I mean, that makes a little bit of sense. But not people who just simply say, I don't identify as that.
Mhm.
No.
It's completely a
Arrogance?
not arrogance.
You don't
No.
think?
No.
To say
Why
that,
do people
I think
here
that
need to know?
you're a
I mean, I
dude.
don't understand.
you're
I
a
don't think it's
dude, you're a
arrogant.
dude.
I think they're lost.
I'm way better than that. I'm something you don't even understand.
I don't know if
couldn't
they're
begin to
saying they're
tell
better.
you
I
what
don't think they're
am.
saying they're better. I
Yeah.
think they're confused. They're lost.
Well, yeah.
Universal, yeah, they make it more confusing, like University of Delaware. Sexual orientation are asexual, bisexual, gay, heterosexual, straight, lesbian, pansexual,
Why does that matter on a college application?
queer, questioning, or unsure. What is queer, anyway?
Why does anyone care?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's why I don't understand why they're asking.
What does your sexual attraction have to do with college application?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Red pen. Oh, Panera. Oh, yeah. No, I think it.
really like Panera.
I think it means it doesn't matter to you what the other person's gender or situation is.
Yeah, you're right. Not limited in
You're attracted to everyone.